So today I'm bringing you my full thoughts on what I believe to be the definition of mediocrity in men's fragrances in a bottle. Mont Blanc Explorer Ultra Blue. Stay tuned. So let's take a quick look at this presentation. As you'll see on the box up front, you have the name of the fragrance. Looks just like the original Explorer box, only blue. Size and concentration. This is a 60 ml bottle, just like my bottle of original Explorer. Nothing on the sides. The back is just a copy of the front. And on the bottom, you have some more fragrance info as well as batch code in the bottom, but nothing special on the box. Here in regards to this bottle. So with the bottle, looks exactly like, same thing with the box, exactly like the original Explorer, just blue with this kind of faux leather texture print going around. Top of the cap says Mont Blanc Explorer. Going around the collar, you have the logo. On the bottom, you do have some more fragrance information that is etched into the glass going around the rim of the glass. It does recess with an indentation depressed of the Mont Blanc logo. And then this atomizer, nothing too spectacular. It does put out, it does its job very well, and then the cap does click into place. But most importantly, let's get into the scent. So I wore this to the gym. I wore this as my scent of the day today. I wore this last night. I've done several test sprays over the last few weeks since I got it. This is not the most impressive fragrance. I have to say, I thought, if nothing else, it would be a nice casual fragrance. And I'm not saying it won't be for some people. Up top, you do get a blast of citrus, and it's very sharp, very astringent quality, kind of stings the nostrils a little bit. It's very in your face in the opening, harsh and, on the synthetic side for sure. It does start to settle into this aquatic, marine type of fruitiness, but that astringent quality doesn't seem to go away. It seems to stay pretty harsh for like the first 2 hours, I find, on my skin. As it settles into the heart, you start to get a little bit of the saltiness start to come in, but I find it to be much more green than blue. Even though the note breakdown doesn't offer green notes, oddly enough, it smells like it's full of basil and rosemary and stuff like that. Like, that's really what it smells like to me. It's almost like the heart of this fragrance becomes a rosemary, basil, fresh green type of appeal with some sea notes or an aquatic nature. That's really what it smells like to me. Like, the note breakdown that I found on Fragrantica doesn't exactly strike me as what I smell off of my skin. Like I said, blue was an interesting choice because I find it to be much more green than blue, though it does have a lot of blue, fresh, watery, aquatic aspects to it. I find as it starts to settle in, it's a much more green fragrance than it is blue. It was very strange to me. And because it maintains a lot of this harshness for the first few hours, that's what kind of turned me off a bit for it. It's not bad. My wife actually paid me a compliment with it and said I smelled nice when she smelled it on me. And a little surprising, she loves the original Explorer. And honestly, I gotta say, in my opinion, this makes the original Explorer look like a masterpiece. Just being real with you. This isn't going to be the most glaring review for this fragrance, but I got to keep it real with you guys. As you settle into the dry down, it's woody. It's still very green. It's got a touch of that aquatic nature. It doesn't drastically change, but it does slightly because the opening from the heart and dry down are a little bit different, but I wouldn't call this a pleasant scent because, like I said, it's synthetic and harsh, at least for me, to my nose, and it takes a long time for that harsh edge to fade away, which normally I don't mind synthetic, but when it's a harsh synthetic, it's a bit of a turnoff. And, nothing special here in the scent profile. Honestly, I paid right around 40 some odd dollars from FragranceBuy.ca for a 60 ml, and I feel like I paid too much. Now, performance is where, for being as fresh of a fragrance as it is, actually did okay in that 5 to 6 hour range on my skin, even through gym use, 4 to 5 hours. Not bad for as fresh as it is and as synthetic as it is. You would think it would burn off a lot faster. So 5 to 6 hour range in longevity, not too shabby. 6 to 8 hours is the sweet spot for me. And based on this scent profile, I think that's great longevity for this fragrance. Projection, nothing special here. Very loud in the first 45 minutes or so. Then once it gets to about the hour and a half point, that's when it starts to sit a bit closer to the skin. Based on my experiences with it, hour and a half, it really starts to calm down and settle in a lot closer to the skin. But the first half hour, 45 minutes, very loud, very bright, extremely fresh, very easy for others around you to smell you, and it'll be all in your face regardless of where you spray it on your body. It's so bright and airy, it will push, it gets out in the air pretty easily. It's one of those light, airy type of aromas. So projection, while not a beast, in the moderate range, hour and a half type of stuff, kind of average performance in projection. Nothing special here, but the longevity was okay at 5 to 6 hours. Sillage, on the much more mild side. Again, nothing special here. Somebody's got to be pretty close to smell you after a few hours after it's really settled down. It's not one that's really going to grab somebody in my experience with it so far. And but performance all in all was okay. Overall thoughts, if you did like I did and you paid $40, $44, whatever the hell it was for the 60 ml, I think you paid too much. I feel like I paid too much. I feel like the high point for pricing for this should be $25. I feel like that's like 100 ml, $25. 18 to 20 for a 60 ml like this. That's where I find it's a comfortable price point for what you get. While I do know some people are going to enjoy this, some people are going to be, oh my God, Ross, I don't know what you're talking about. I can't believe you're saying this about the fragrance. This is just my personal opinion, my thoughts from my experience with it thus far. This is, at best for me, an out-the-shower gym bag fragrance. This is not one I'm going to reach for on a regular basis. I will sporadically give it more chances from time to time, here and there. Hopefully it grows on me more. Some fragrances just take time to grow on me, and my initial review, first impressions and my review after a handful of wearings, maybe another handful of wearings, I'll start to like it more. But if I had to put a number on this one, this is a 4.5 out of 10, where it's not great, it's not bad, it's okay. I wouldn't even consider it good. It's half a click below good, because 5 out of 10 I would consider a good fragrance. It's at least a good fragrance, whereas this is slightly below average. I'm going to say it's okay. It's not a bad fragrance. For some people, it's going to be a bad fragrance, but for me, 4.5 out of 10 I feel is the right spot to rate this fragrance overall, because performance isn't too bad, and depending on how you feel about harshly synthetic fragrances, it might be a 2 out of 10 for you, but they normally don't bother me that much. It's just this one's a bit more harsh than you're running, like my Abercrombie & Fitch fragrances. Those are super synthetic, but they don't have the harshness or the enjoyability. This doesn't have what those have, you know. So for me, like I said, it's one that's going to sit on the shelf, and at best, it's probably going to be a gym bag kind of fragrance for me, where I'll just use it as a refresher. Probably will never spray my chest again, so it's not all in my face with this fragrance, because it's got to really settle into the early dry down before I really start to get some enjoyment out of this fragrance. And for me, that's going to be a pass most of the time. So if you value my opinion, pass on this one unless you can find it for around 20 bucks. At the price I paid for it, which is well discounted, I feel like it's still overpriced. Well, that's my thoughts and feelings on Mont Blanc Explorer Ultra Blue. And until next time, do me a real quick favor, go ahead and like, comment, subscribe. So I do appreciate all the feedback, and I love hearing from you guys. How many of you genuinely like this fragrance? I mean, I know there's people out there that are going to like this fragrance, just like there's people out there that are going to feel the way I do, where it's just okay. And then there's probably people that can't stand this fragrance. It's going to be across the board, I believe, with this scent, because I feel like they really missed the mark on what this could have been. To follow up and make a flanker of the wildly popular Explorer, which I believe is a really good fragrance. Overhyped, I don't believe it's a 10 out of 10 like some people treat it, but I always have thought it is a really good fragrance, whereas I feel like the bar was set too low for this, because this was, in my opinion, just a bad follow-up to carry the Explorer bottle and name and be a flanker of Explorer. I feel like they could have did so much more. They should have went the route of Aventus Cologne or something like that. Since they went the route of Aventus, they could have did maybe a different twist on Aventus Cologne for the Ultra Blue flanker. Just my opinion, of course. Maybe we'll see something like that in the future if they flanker this again, but for me, kind of a fail here. I feel like they missed the mark. And until next time, I will say, if you get your hands on Ultra Blue and you give it a spray now, you won't thank me later, because I'm trying to detour you and save you some money. Have a good one, guys.